Have you found them yet?
No, Lord Helmet. They're still not on the scanner.
Well, keep looking for them.
Pardon me, sir. I have an idea. Corporal, get me the video cassette of Spaceballs the movie.
Yes, sir.
Colonel Sanders, may I speak with you, please?
Yes, sir. How could there be a cassette of Spaceballs the movie? We're still in the middle of making it. That's true, sir. But there's been a new breakthrough in home video marketing. Yes. Instant cassettes. They're out in stores before the movie is finished.
Here it is, sir. Spaceballs.
Good work, Corporal. Punch it up.
Hello and welcome to Analytical Fanboys, the show where two guys talk about things randomly selected from a list, because that's a good idea for a show. I'm one of your hosts, the Vacuuminator, and I'm joined as always by my innumerable co-host, Boingo Rider. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing.
Are you?
Yeah. But also happen to be surrounded by assholes.
Yo!
I wanted to be the first one to quote it. I had to.
Yep. Oh my god. I'm fully expecting half of this episode to just be us spewing quotes.
Yeah. So we're talking about The Balls of Space.
Yeah, that movie called Spaceballs, a Mel Brooks production. So this movie was 1987, which was like just 2 or 3 years after Return of the Jedi.
Yep.
And is, I think, can be considered like the normie Mel Brooks film. Like, it's probably the most well-known, probably most played on TV, most quoted. And that's not to say it's bad. It's one of only 2 Mel Brooks films I've seen. I've seen this, and I have Young Frankenstein. I got that for Christmas.
I've seen
years
this
and years ago.
Robin Hood Men in Tights, Blazing Saddle, Young Frankenstein, bits of The Producer, and bits of World History, and I think that's everything I've seen of him.
My parents own a copy of Robin Hood Men in Tights. I've just never got around to watching it.
That's fine.
And I do eventually want to watch it, and I want to watch The Producers and Blazing Saddles at some point, because those are the 2 ones everybody always talks about.
Blazing Saddles is a must. But it's really hard as a white dude to quote some of the best lines in Blazing Saddles.
Oh dear. Is it like Django Unchained in that way?
No, it's... Okay, the best way to put it is one of my favorite scenes in the movie is the sheriff, who is a black man, and that's part of the character, it's part of the joke, that the town is generally racist toward him. And his partner, who is played by Gene Wilder, are looking at a line of villain applicants, and it's just like generic villain archetypes, like the Nazis, blah blah blah. The last one is KKK members. Okay, and they go like, all right, cool, we can use that to distract and get into the line, so we can infiltrate the thing, whatever the scene was. And you want to know how they did it? Gene Wilder goes, hey guys, I found something you might be interested in. And he pulls the black sheriff out from behind the rock. And the black sheriff goes, hey, where are the white women at?
Oh my god!
It's fucking great.
Okay, so that's definitely getting bumped to the top of my to-watch list. But talking about this movie, because this is a movie that I suspect with you it's similar, but this is a movie that I saw at a pretty young age, and I tend to revisit it like every 3 or 4 years.
Oh, definitely. Especially because this was the first Mel Brooks movie my grandfather showed me, and he's a pretty big Mel Brooks fan.
Okay, that's cool. See, I stumbled upon it one day on TV, I think.
Yeah, no, my grandfather, who I call Granddaddy.
Very clean.
Yes. It's a weird, goofy story because it's fucking dumb. My dad called his grandfather granddaddy. So when they were talking to me about my grandfather, they were going like, "This is granddaddy," kind of going like, "Let's keep the tradition going." He's granddaddy. My dumbass 1-year-old brain went when I first saw him coming off the plane, "Granddaddy, granddaddy." And it stuck.
I see.
But he's a big Looney Tunes, Mel Brooks, like that old school vaudevillian style fucking humor through that modern lens. He loves it. Like out of all of his DVD, like my grandfather and grandmother don't have many DVDs, but out of their DVDs, like 70% of them are Mel Brooks.
Nice. See, like Mel Brooks, and you brought up Looney Tunes as well, is like two styles of comedy that I always like see clips of everywhere, and I always go, "Oh, I want to look into that more," and I just never get around to it.
Yeah.
But the stuff I have seen, like this movie, Young Frankenstein, and I forget the names of the Looney Tunes shorts I've actually watched.
You've probably seen the Duck Season 1.
I don't think I've actually seen it in full. I've just seen that clip. Yeah, the ones I have seen, I love to death, and I try to watch them whenever the mood strikes me. But that's not always so easy today because like with the kind of busy lives guys our age have, it's hard to just like take a night to watch a movie.
Oh yeah.
But for this, it definitely is worth it.
And
I was very glad that you put this on the list and we got to it so quickly because I realized I didn't actually own a copy of this. I'd always watched it on TV or rented it before, and so I went out and bought a copy right away.
You could say you had to go buy it ludicrously fast.
I did. And I watched it last night, and God, I just had such a good time. Like there's a lot of like what my parents would consider rude comedy in this, but it feels like to me one of the most wholesome comedies of all time. Like I watch it, I go in, even if I'm in a bad mood, it'll very quickly lull me into the mood it wants me to be in, and I just have a good time all the way through, and then I leave like, yeah, that was great. I don't need any more. I didn't need any less.
Oh yeah, but this you said earlier that this is probably the normie Mel Brooks movie. It is the easiest one to get into.
Yeah, because everybody knows Star Wars.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Also, it's the easiest one to show to kids to get them into him, because to a kid it doesn't feel like, oh, this is some subversive parody. It's just, oh, this is a funnier Star Wars.
Mm-hmm. Well, in a way, it's kind of built to look like just an off-brand Star Wars, and I don't mean that in a bad way. That like really plays to the comedy of it.
Yeah, but even like, there's a part of me that really loves the fact that it was made at the time it was made, because it still has to use models.
Mm-hmm.
But because it's a lower budget.
God. One of my favorite things about how obviously off-brand Star Wars this is just that first shot where it's spanning across Spaceball 1. And about halfway through I go, oh man, I forgot how nice looking of a model this is. This is great. Yeah. And then the shot just keeps going to like a comedic degree, and you're like, oh, if this was not a parody, this would have been one of those things. They're parodying that thing where people make like a crazy intricate model and put too much of the budget into it, and then they go, we're getting our money's worth out of this.
Oh yeah. Mel Brooks wanted the first reel of the movie just to be of that ship.
That's great.
Yeah, like he said that in the commentary. He says the original plan was to have that be like 15 minutes long.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
But
because that also would have acted to like a parody of the opening of Star Trek The Motion Picture, where it's just like 10 minutes of a star field and the Star Trek theme.
I always forget how much fucking Star Trek there actually is in this movie.
Yeah. They actually directly name drop Star Trek in this, which I forgot.
Yeah. Scotty.
Oh yeah. That's great. That's so great.
Yeah.
You see with his head.
Was my ass always this big?
Yeah, that's great. Everything with President Scrooge is just so good.
Well, it's fucking Mel Brooks.
Like Mel Brooks kills it in this movie.
He always kills it, though.
He does. You know, something funny I realized during this watch through. I don't know if you've seen any recent footage of him, but minus the gold paint, Mel Brooks now looks like Yogurt does. Like, have you seen the episode of Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee that he's in?
Nah.
Like, he just looks like Yogurt in a suit.
Well, I mean, Yogurt knows how to merchandise.
That is true. Oh my god.
Merchandising.
I never noticed before this watch through, because I always, like, my last watch through I think was when I was like 14 or 15, and I'm 21 now. I never realized before how much stuff just in the background for the rest of the movie is Spaceballs the something.
That's why when last time we were talking about this, I said we need to name the podcast Spaceballs the podcast.
I might still put that in parentheses somewhere on either like the episode art or the actual upload.
But a thing I want to talk about is a lot of diehard Mel Brooks fans and a lot of movie buffs in general talk about the fact that Mel Brooks was never near the end of his career, because he stopped making movies about in the 90s. He hasn't made a movie that near the end of his career, his movies kind of, the best way to put it, isn't dropped off in quality, but dropped off in bite. Like, his earlier movies were much more biting. They were much more... Blazing Saddles was a direct finger pointing at racism in Hollywood and in general, and just going like, this is ridiculous and hilarious, let's laugh at it. Stuff like that. And something watching this, I kind of realized Spaceballs is the beginning of it, because he's making a parody of Star Wars because Star Wars is popular.
Yeah. You know, I think that's interesting, because I see that a lot of times with, like, actors and stuff like that. When they start getting a little more up there and maybe they have a kid, they go, you know, I want to just start taking some scripts for some more, like, kid-friendly stuff, so that if my kid or if I have a kid, they can watch something with me in it.
Yeah.
Like the My Name Is Earl guy did that. That's why he was the voice of Underdog in the live action Underdog movie for the 5 people who remember that.
You know what? That wasn't a bad movie, though.
It was very okay.
Yeah. It wasn't great, but it wasn't shit.
Yeah.
It wasn't Garfield.
That is true.
But I think at the time it wasn't that biting of a commentary of a movie, but I think now it's super subversive and very, very critical.
Mm-hmm.
If you want me to get into that, or do you want to bring up?
No, go ahead. I want to hear what you have to say about this.
Okay, and it's centered around the scene we've already brought up, the merchandise scene.
Yeah.
Think about it today with the new Star Wars trilogy coming out, all the spin-off movies of that, Avengers.
Kylo Ren's face is on everything now.
Yeah, Avengers, all that, with multimedia franchises and everything. Mm-hmm. Spaceballs predicted just how weirdly ubiquitous it is, and you don't pay attention, because they were making fun of the fact that, oh, Star Wars has toys and lunchboxes and everything.
Because Star Wars was the first movie to really do that.
Yeah, but now it's such a weird, ubiquitous part of our movie-going experience that it feels much more...
Every Marvel movie I have seen in the last 3 years has had a deal at the theater where if you get a large popcorn, you can get one that comes in a tin that you take home and has stuff from the movie on it, and also you get a t-shirt of the movie's logo on it.
Yeah, but, like, it feels... Back then, it feels like, oh, we're just making a joke at all the merchandise. Now it feels like we're pointing out that this is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
Which, for a movie, that's a great thing to have, like, a different meaning to a new audience, and it feels just as natural and fitting.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think Mel Brooks intended that, but, like, he couldn't see the future. But it's like, damn, you were smart enough that you were able to write something that is so multifaceted that, given more time, it feels like a more...
It aged like fine wine.
Oh, yeah, it feels like a more three-dimensional joke.
Mm-hmm. And I was going to wait till a little later in the episode to do this, but I guess we'll just go ahead and jump on this question. Watching it this time, I was really wondering, because of the new Star Wars movie every year thing, do you still want a sequel? Are you one of those people who's still holding out for Spaceballs 2, The Search for More Money?
No, because we already had that in the animated series.
See, I've never watched the animated series.
I watched it. It wasn't the greatest, but it was okay. But you know what? For a sequel to a thing, making, like, as a concept of a sequel, being a thing, making fun of sequels just to make more money, that's almost too perfect.
Okay. See, I wasn't sure if, like, that show was... I know nothing about that show except that it exists, so I wasn't sure what the plot of it or anything like that was.
Basically, every episode is a parody of a movie.
Okay.
There's a Jurassic Park episode, if I remember right, and...
See, I thought it might have been a parody of the prequels.
They may have done that, I don't remember.
Because that's, like, the logical place you go to at the time that show came out, isn't it?
Yeah, it was on fucking G4.
Yeah. God, who remembers G4?
Huh.
Let's talk about the cast a little bit in this movie, because this is such an interesting cast that is so of its time, but is also really interesting to me because it's mostly people who I only know from, like, one other thing and are either dead or still working, but haven't done anything that remotely rings a bell to me anymore.
The only one I'd say does not fit that bill is Rick Moranis.
See, I only know Rick Moranis from Ghostbusters.
Dude, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, Little Shop of Horrors.
I've seen bits and pieces of Little Shop of Horrors, and I've never actually watched Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
He's also one of the mooses in Brother Bear.
Okay, I did not know that. Brother Bear is a movie I've seen.
It also doesn't help that he hasn't acted in a movie for, 20 some odd years?
He stopped being in things for, like, I forget how long, in 2004, and then he did an episode of The Goldbergs recently. And that's the last thing he was in.
But you know why?
It's like an issue with a family member, I think.
His wife died of cancer, and he had to raise his kids, and he went, I'd rather raise my kids than work.
Oh.
And he saved up enough money he could.
Okay.
That's why after he stopped, he still did some voice acting roles, because that was quick, easy stuff to do.
Is he in the animated series?
Maybe? I don't remember. It may have been a voice clone, whatever.
Well, it's very understandable that he did that.
Yeah. Like, no, I have mad respect for the guy. He's great.
You'd have to be a complete asshole to begrudge him for it, actually.
Yeah. He does bluegrass albums, too.
Okay. That's not a thing I would have ever guessed.
Yeah, I think it's bluegrass. It may it's either bluegrass or folk.
But yeah, he kills it in this movie. I think it's totally fair to say he is definitely the star, and he gets a lot of the best gags. Like, he has the ludicrous speed gag, he has the assholes gag, he has the jam gag, and they're all just so great. Those are all just YouTube clips waiting to happen.
You mean already have happened?
Well, I mean, like, at the time the movie came out.
Yeah. But you know what? My favorite character always is John Candy as Barf.
Okay, I can see that.
Because I love affable goofballs that are fun and, like, positive dudes. And Barf is that guy.
See, Barf's fun. He just doesn't have a lot of gags that really kill it for me.
I personally just remember the lines he has because of the way he delivers them.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, it's John freaking Candy. He can deliver any line and make you love it.
What are you? I'm a Mog. Half man, half dog. I'm my own best friend.
Yeah.
That just gets to my heart.
Also, like, I did not realize that Lone Star was Bill Pullman until this viewing. Like, I knew Bill Pullman from other things, like Independence Day, one of my favorite movies. And I'd always just assumed it was some guy who did this because he looked like Harrison Ford and then never did anything again. And then I went to look at the IMDb page as I was watching this movie. I was like, you know what, let's play a game. Every time a character shows up, I'm going to check and see what actor it is. And then Lone Star is Bill Pullman, and I'm like, wiggity, what?
Do you notice how his fucking early costume is just Indiana Jones?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is, and it's so great. And I think that's also part of why I thought it was just guy who looks like Harrison Ford at first.
And Barf knocks off the hat and he never wears it.
Yeah. And it's such an un-Bill Pullman performance, because he's traditionally a very serious actor, at least for the stuff I know him from. And in this, he's just kind of, not yucking it up, but he's just kind of being generic hero in the best kind of, like, funny, half-assed, but in a funny way.
I mean, Bill Pullman and the Princess are basically playing a screwball comedy.
That's exactly what they're doing, and it's so
Everybody
great.
else is in Looney Tunes, but they're in an old-fashioned screwball rom-com.
Yeah. And it works so well as a parody of Leia and Han, because that's what Leia and Han are. They're the serious version of that.
Yeah.
I also want to throw a quick shout out to Colonel Sanders. Just the best name gag in the movie.
What are ya? Chicken?
Yes.
Oh, I never realized, because I was too young and I didn't get these jokes, but there's a great number of, like, military call sign jokes.
Oh, yeah.
Like, who are you? I'm an asshole, sir. Who is he? He's an asshole, sir. What? Major asshole. Like, that's great. And then when they're going through ludicrous speed, Dark Helmet goes, something, you, what are you some petty officer?
I know!
That's like a fucking great, like, that's a good, like, great pun, it works, but if you don't get the pun, it doesn't make you go like, huh? I
know, there's so many great little puns like that in this movie, and that one especially just reminded me of this great moment in Batman White Knight. Spoilers for those of you who want to read that book. There's this great moment towards the end where Mr. Freeze shows up as like a last minute reveal that he's gonna come in and save the day and help someone, and he's about to blast someone in the back, and the thing he says is, "I came here to kick ass and say ice puns, and I'm all out of ice puns." And that's a nice pun in and of itself!
God, motherfucker.
One of the I really love a lot of the physical comedy in this movie too. Just the way people's mannerisms can change on a dime to suit a gag, and the way they coordinate it too is amazing. Like when they'll have like a bunch of people do the same thing at once, like when Spaceball Troopers is what I'm gonna call them. When Darth Helmet gets pissed off, they just immediately all grab their crotches after that first scene.
Yep.
And and they keep it going through the whole movie. It's so great.
I see your Schwartz is not as long as mine.
Yeah, that scene is like low-hanging fruit, but you feel like the movie's earned it.
Yeah.
Which I can very rarely say with a comedy.
But here's the thing, like, it's low-hanging fruit for, like, maybe 10 seconds, and then it gets back to, like, alright, we did the one joke that we just, come on, let's give that one, and then we'll get back to that.
They could have easily gone that whole scene with Lone Star and Darth Helmet holding their crotches, but no, they just immediately lift their hands up and do it like normal.
Yeah, it was very much of, alright, let's just get this out of the way.
Yeah.
I am your father's brothers. I can't remember the whole line.
That is the sickest burn of all time. I'm just gonna say that right there. There is no burn that will ever top. I am your father's, sister's, uncle's, brother's, cousin's, nephew's former roommate. What does that make us? Absolutely nothing.
Which is what
you are about to become.
God, that's like a fucking wrestling burn. You have to go 3/4 around the ring just to make it work.
I know. I really love the feel of this movie too. Like, this is such a light, fun comedy that has a lot of swearing and
Vulgarity?
Yeah, vulgar I was having trouble saying the word for some reason. It has a lot of vulgar gags in it, but it's never in your face about it. Like, to give a comparison, I recently saw Deadpool 2, and like, not to shit talk that movie, but the trailers leading up to it was like every R-rated comedy coming out for the next year, and they were all just the most in-your-face mutilation, guy getting hit in the crotch. We're saying this thing, and it sounds totally disgusting, and everybody flips out over it kind of gags. And I was like... And then I sat down and watched this movie like 2 days later, and I was like, God, where is this anymore? Comedies used to be so much fun, and now it's... I can't believe I'm this guy, but now comedies, most of the time, just feel like they're about how much they can blow you away with how far they went.
Yeah, now John Cena chugs a beer with his butt.
Yeah. Yeah, that happened.
Apparently that movie actually has some good heart in it. Blockers. Yeah.
I'm just hoping the Bumblebee movie is at least somewhat good to him.
Yeah. I think the animated movie he's going to be a part of might be interesting.
What's that again?
They're doing another Doolittle movie, but it's not like an Eddie Murphy Doolittle. It's actually based off the original children's book, which was released.
Oh yeah, I did hear about that.
Yeah, he's
Tom
playing like a polar
Holland's
bear.
in that, isn't it?
Yes.
Oh, that's gonna be cool.
Yeah,
I might actually see that. I haven't gone to see an animated movie in the theaters in forever.
I don't remember if
like
it's
a sequel to something.
100% animated or if it's real people with animated animals.
Oh jeez.
I don't remember.
That could be cool too. I know nothing about this movie except for the stuff you have told me. So I'm not gonna sit here and start shit talking this Dr. Dolittle reboot.
Yeah. Yeah. John Cena's like playing a polar bear.
Okay. I also really like that they did the most obvious choice in the world to parody 3PO, but they somehow made it work. Like it's very easy to go like, oh, it's just a bitchy woman that you know as the 3PO character, and just have that be a total groaner, let's keep it moving gag for the whole movie. But no, like every line Joan Rivers has as dot matrix in this is great.
Also, that fucking name as a dot matrix printer.
Yes.
It's fucking good.
That's a gag I didn't get till I was older because I was not very computers. Well, not like I wasn't very old knowledge with computers until very recently. What do you want to talk about next? What's
I don't
another
know.
little thing?
You want to just go over some of your favorite gags?
I mean, we kind of have been doing that as we bounce from thing to thing.
We ain't found shit.
Yes, that's great. I can't not bring up Mega Maid being the big Transformers guy that I am.
Oh yeah,
that's so good.
Oh fuck! Oh man, the Planet of the Apes joke.
Yes. Oh my god. I completely forgot that was there this viewing. It totally took me by surprise, especially because I've actually seen Planet of the Apes now. That's a thing I did in between this viewing and my last one.
The original Charleston Heston one?
Yep.
Yep. I'm just making sure.
And then having John Hurt be in here, and in the credits he's listed as himself, but he's clearly doing his role from Aliens.
Oh shit!
Not again. That was
hello,
great.
my baby. Hello, my darling. Hello, my ragtime gal.
And I love that all the other people standing next to him just look like low-rent alien cast members. Like, they look like the stunt doubles for those people. Speaking of which, the stunt doubles gag is great.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. The fuck... You know what I want to see, but I don't think ever has been done as, like, part of a line? I want to see the Winnebago just be treated as, like, an iconic spaceship, like it should be.
That would be great.
Like you see the Enterprise, you see the Falcon, you see the you'll see the thing.
Because always, whenever you go to a convention, there's always those those fan drawings that are for sale of like a bunch of different things that are the same kind of thing from a bunch of different properties. I would have loved, like you said, I would have loved to see one that's like all the big famous spaceships and the Winnebago's in there.
Yeah, because the Winnebago, it's the Winnebago. It's Eagle 5.
Yeah. Or even putting in Mega Maid or the Spaceball is it Spaceball 1?
I think so.
Yeah, the Spaceball 1 form of Mega Maid. It would be great too.
Prison Scroob just running in. It's a long way.
Yeah. We haven't talked about the best gag in the movie. When they take out the VHS of the movie. I almost said DVD. I'm such a fucking millennial.
Oh god. Oh man, that is probably my first introduction to meta humor.
Yeah. And there's plenty of other meta humor in this movie, but that's like the big joke everybody remembers. Aside from the assholes joke. And it's so great.
But the assholes joke is just super relatable, and you can just make that joke anytime.
Uh-huh. Well, hell, while I was watching the movie this time around, I posted that clip on Twitter as, like, whenever I finish watching a thing for the first time and go look at other people's reviews.
Assholes. I'm surrounded by assholes.
God. Keep firing, assholes!
God. I never noticed when I was a kid until much later. Yeah, that makes sense. The Dark Helmet's wearing short shorts.
Yeah. Oh my god. The Dark Helmet outfit is so good. You know, people cosplay Sith Lords, the most obscure Sith Lords all the time. I never see anybody cosplay Darth Helmet. Where are my Darth Helmet cosplayers?
Did they just get the helmet size wrong?
Yeah.
Too small. Needs to be
and
bigger.
The fact that he's wearing a freaking tie.
Oh, yeah. Fuck
and
yeah.
if you look at just his torso, it kind of looks like a Squidward face. Have you ever noticed that?
No.
Like, that's clearly not intentional, because this movie came out so far before
Yeah,
SpongeBob.
it came out a good, 12 years beforehand.
Yeah, but it looks like a Squidward face, with the little things next to the tie, which look like eyes, and then the tie itself looks like a nose.
Oh, nose.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Although, now that I think about it, and I'm looking at it again here at a picture on IMDb, I think it's actually meant to be a cock and balls.
You know what? Probably is.
Yeah. By the way, I own a very bog standard DVD release of this thing, because I just went and bought the cheapest one on Amazon so I could get it here real fast for this episode. And it has, no special features on it.
Oh,
If I were to...
Mine has some director's commentaries and stuff.
Okay. I think mine just has the trailer. If I were to go and buy another release of this movie, I would try and track down a VHS release that looks like the one they play in the movie.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like, that's something I would, put on display away from the rest of my movie collection.
Man, that joke didn't age the greatest.
Just
The joke itself is
DVD.
great. It's the context of the joke.
It's only because it's a VHS. Right now, the joke feels super topical if you just take out the fact that it's a VHS, because they're saying instant cassettes. You can watch the movie while they're making it, which is we're almost doing that now with how much shit we get from movies promotionally as they're, being hyped up by the studios.
Yeah.
I forget which one it was. No, I do remember. Avengers Age of Ultron. We basically had that entire movie in the form of exclusive clips for different talk shows by the night before it came out.
Yeah. I just realized I already have a weird podcast thing because I do that all the time. The higher pitch, yeah, and then the lower pitch, yeah.
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 Yeah. Okay.
I must point it out before anybody else points it out.
Now we've got to make it a meme.
Meme?
What's something else I can talk about? I really like the distinct choice to I think there's a very, very subtle magic versus technology theme going on in this movie.
Well, that's present in the original Star Wars.
Yeah, but it's really, it's done in a really classy way, whereas they could have just thrown it in your face as a joke here. But if you look at Spaceballs City and all that, it's very traditional but kind of low rent looking sci-fi. And then you go to Druidia, and all the scenes on Druidia just look like a scene from Princess Bride.
Yeah. I wonder if they were trying to parody any of that with the Druidia stuff.
Maybe. I'm not sure.
Not overtly.
Wasn't Princess Bride a parody in and of itself?
It was more a meta. I'm trying to figure out the best way to put it. Like a meditation on the idea of fairy tales.
Okay. See, I've only seen Princess Bride once, and it was when I was, I think 10 or 11.
Oh my god. That is one of the best movies, though.
Yeah. See, I remember parts of it I remember all the parts everyone else remembers really strongly, but, the rest of that movie, I just draw a total blank.
Have fun storming the castle!
Yep, I've got that. I've got the Inigo Montoya thing. There's something else. I forget what it was. But
Shame, you seem like a good
I
man.
don't have it now.
Shame, I feel like you're a good man. I'd be ashamed to kill you. You'll be ashamed to die. Princess Bride's great.
Yeah.
Anybody want a peanut? I'm just gonna quote that.
Yeah, that's just gonna be what this episode is now, is just us quoting old comedies.
Yeah, I mean, there's there's a few things you can be critical of Spaceballs, which are like, yeah, the costumes are low rent, but it's a comedy and that's kind of funny.
Yeah, that's kind of the joke.
Like,
actually something related to costumes I do like. There's very consistent deterioration on Vespa's dress for the whole movie.
yeah.
Like, it feels like they were paying attention to that. Like, this is a very delicate but elaborate wedding dress, and we're just gonna, like, take a little piece off in each scene. To the point where when she gets back to Druidia, she's almost just wearing, like, a bathing suit.
But Pizza the Hut.
Okay, Pizza the Hut. I have a story to tell with Pizza the Hut. Do you want to hear that story?
Does it involve stuffed crust and a personal pan pizza?
No.
Okay, go on. I'm slightly disappointed, but go on.
When I was a child, the first time I watched Spaceballs, Pizza the Hut gave me a nightmare. And not a nightmare about him eat like anything related to what he does in the movie. He was just so disgusting and freaky to me as a kid. I pictured him eating me.
But he's delicious.
I know. And then, and I never had a problem with him again. It was just that one viewing. That night I had a nightmare.
Weird.
And then this time I completely forgot how practical he was. So this time when I watched it, I was totally taken off guard by him, and I had a baby barf.
I love how practical Pizza the Hut is, but his weird android dude is just a dude with face paint.
I think it's supposed to be a parody of Lobot, but I'm not sure.
I don't know, but I just love how, we put all this money into this very practical man in a suit pizza costume that we're gonna drizzle cheese on. What are we gonna have as his assistant? Let's just get a guy in face paint.
Yeah.
It's fucking great.
Actually, you know what that guy does look like?
You know what
Again, this is a thing that came way later, but he looks like the bad guys from Toontown Online. Do you remember that?
Yeah. You know what he reminded me of? Max Headroom.
Yeah, kinda.
Especially with that crick in his neck that he did.
Yeah, okay, he's definitely meant to be a Max Headroom parody then. But he looks a lot like the Toontown Online baddies to me now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, but I love, like, there's an aesthetic to low rent sci-fi-esque practical effects that I love. That this is just a little bit too nice to really fit that niche, but it's great anyway.
Yeah.
Like another thing on the list, which no, you know what? I'm not going to talk about it. We'll talk about it when we get to that thing. Because I don't want to ruin.
Is it the Mr. Coffee?
What?
Is it the Mr. Coffee? Because the Mr. Coffee looks incredibly low rent.
Oh yeah, that's fucking.
And I love it.
Oh, it's great. Oh, dude, I noticed a thing. I'm pretty sure right after the jamming the radar, when they're talking to the dude from Police Academy, can't remember his name, Milo Winslow.
I think it's Michael Winslow. What? I have the IMDb up right now. I'm gonna check.
Winslow something.
Yeah, it's Michael and Winslow.
When they're talking to Michael Winslow and they're removing his communicator device, like he's going. And they rip it off, and Rick Moranis rips it off. I could have swore I saw a green lighting gel just fly off with it.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Now, I have a question about Mr. Michael Winslow. Is he, known for being a voiceover guy? Is that why they did that gag with him? Because the gag is great, but it feels like it's a cultural joke of the time that I don't understand.
Oh, yeah, that was his big gag in Police Academy. He didn't, if I remember I've never seen Police Academy, but I think he didn't talk and he just did sound effects. He was really well known for doing those vocal sound effects.
Okay, I have not seen Police Academy either. I didn't even know Police Academy was a parody until recently. I thought it was like a serious police thing.
No, it was a comedy.
Yeah, I just found that out like a few years ago.
Damn.
Yeah. There's a lot of older movie shit that will just occasionally be brought up to me, and I'm like, oh, really? I had no idea. I just assumed it was X.
Oh, God.
What's something else?
It's a movie.
It is. It is a movie, and this is a podcast. The music in this movie is great.
Spaceballs!
Yeah, there's the theme, but like the score. Oh my god, the score is just...
It really gets
like,
that knockoff John Williams so good.
Yeah, especially the thing where it's scrolling across Spaceball 1 at the beginning. That almost sounds like the Jaws theme to me.
Well, yeah.
And the title crawl music is just great. Like,
but it
I would go ahead.
But it also has that cheesy, like, made-for-TV movie laser.
Yeah, and that's part of what that's like a big part of what makes it so great. Like, if I could find that track on its own, I'd probably put it in my music playlist.
But, like, oh god, I'm saying butts and likes a lot. You know what? It almost feels like this could be in concept. It feels like, now you have to follow me on this. Like,
Okay.
A person was making a made-for-TV sci-fi movie, kind of like Star Wars, but didn't know how to make a good movie, and just made this, and thought, oh yeah, this would be great. But it was made intentionally as a comedy by Mel Brooks.
Yeah, I could see that.
Like, think of it as like, oh, someone just wants to make a real, like a sci-fi movie, and they just don't know shit, and just go like, yeah, of course, Ludacris is faster than light speed. What do it look like? It'll look like fucking Plaid.
That is like a very, like, you know those movies Red Letter Media always reviews, is the old, like, Italian shot in the desert sci-fi films? That's very much stuffing out of one of those.
Oh, yeah. He's gone Plaid. That's easily one of the best. No, you know what the most quoted line is? Not assholes. Assholes is second. The most quoted line has to be, "We ain't found shit."
Probably, but I think that's just because that was a saying before the movie.
Yeah, but you know, the delivery on it, and that guy was just so fucking adamant about the fact that he ain't found shit.
Yeah. I feel like that guy was from something.
Probably.
Like, I feel like it was supposed to be like a big cameo gag, and I just didn't get it because I'm not from that era.
We weren't 80s babies, we're millennials.
Yeah. I think I said how old I was early in the podcast.
I think I'm a millennial, and I think you're a Gen Zer.
I think I'm, like, just on the edge between those two, because I was born in 1997, and, like, right at the beginning of it.
Yeah.
And I don't really feel closely affiliated with either one.
Well, here's the fun thing about the fact. No one fucking does. It doesn't matter. It's just something old people call us to fucking piss us off.
Mm-hmm. and then when we get to be their age, we take it as a badge of honor.
And we'll just
hi, baby boomers.
Comedy. Happy.
A statue got dropped on a guy's foot. That was funny. The dinks are pretty great.
The what?
I like the dinks a lot. They're a very small part of the movie, but I enjoyed them.
Ding ding.
You know what the best gag Barf has in the whole movie is?
Being Barf.
Well, there's that, but like my favorite thing that he does in the movie is when they're escaping the Spaceballs City prison, and he takes that bit of piping and just holds it out and reflects the blast back at them.
That is such Looney Tunes logic. I love it.
Yeah, it's great. I was going to say Power Rangers, actually. That reminds me a lot of... there's this moment in Power Rangers SPD where the 6th Ranger has just shown up, and they, like, fire a bunch of laser blasts at him, and he just catches them in his hands and drops them, and it's supposed to be super badass, like a he caught the bullets moment, but it's hilarious because it's laser blasts.
Laser beams!
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm about at the end of my rope with this topic. You got much else to say?
That's a good movie.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the best comedies I've ever seen. I like it a whole lot, and I highly doubt this will be the last time I ever watch it. Actually, come to think of it, if I do ever have kids, this would probably be one of the first comedy movies I show them.
I wouldn't show this to a kid. I'd show this to a 10-year-old who's wanting to watch something a little bit more adult.
Mm-hmm.
Because
I would say like 8 to 12 is the age range where it's okay to introduce them to
this. Because you go like, oh, hey, we'll watch this adult movie, and they'll get a kick out of it because, ooh, they're saying shit. But you know it's really tame in comparison to most stuff, and it's just like, all right, cool. It gets, like... Another similar one to that would be, like, Jim Carrey's The Mask.
Yeah. Like, this is the get them started while they're young kind of movie, so that when they're, like, a few years younger than I am currently, you could show them Deadpool or something.
Or just... They become more understanding of... comedy and adult humor, and they're not just like, it's funny because I called them gay.
Yeah. I don't think there's any gay jokes in this movie, aside from the one where it's like he thinks the prince is a princess and he says, oh, it's the hair. But that's
not really a gay joke. That's just more of like, oh yeah, no.
Looks funny.
Yeah, long hair tends to be a little effeminate. I understand that kind of joke.
But there's nothing like, there's no derogatory gay gags in this, which, like, hey, ahead of its time.
Well, it's of its time. Those kind of jokes didn't really become more until, like, the fucking 90s. I mean, look at fucking, there's a movie that Marilyn Monroe stars in, where 2 guys have to cross-dress in order to, like, escape something. I can't remember. Some Like It Hot.
Some Like It Hot. Yeah, I've seen that movie.
The end of the movie ends with one of the guys still cross-dressing, riding into the sunset with another man, and the guy's going, but you don't understand. You won't love me. And he goes like, nonsense, I love you. And he goes through all these things, and then finally he just takes off the wig and goes, I'm a man. And he goes, nobody's perfect. And they just kind of like sit there and go like, huh.
Yeah, I remember. That's actually the thing I remember about that movie the most, I think.
Yeah. But, yeah, Spaceballs.
Yeah, Spaceballs is pretty great. You know what else is great? Hopefully, the next thing we select off of the list, which I'm about to do now, as soon as I can get my screen capture going so you can see. And
hey, I see your Audacity.
Hey, I am. That is how we record this show, is Audacity. And I'm now selecting...
We're breaking the fourth wall. Hey, Colt Cabana.
The things in the list. And we're going over here. And put them in the random picker. And I'm going to select the topic for the next episode in 3, 2, 1.
Ghost Meloria. Suggested by me. This is the 4th one in our goddamn row.
I have not gotten a damn suggestion selected so far.
Oh, Lord.
Which I guess is fair, because I have, like, way more than you on the list.
Yeah.
I added 3 more today, actually.
Oh, God. But next week, next episode, I shouldn't say week, because we kind of do these as we can. We'll be talking about Ghost's currently latest album. They're gearing up to release a new one soon called Meloria. It is Do you want me to give a brief descript?
Yeah. I want to start doing that. If one of us doesn't know what the thing is, have a bit of an explanation for the other person.
The best way I can find to describe it is it's Black Sabbath with the campiness of Scooby-Doo and a shit ton of Satan.
Satan. Okay.
They're great. I suggest listening to the album, but I also would like to you just say like, hey, maybe watch a couple of the music videos because they're pretty good music videos.
Okay. This doesn't sound exactly like my taste in music, but I'm definitely intrigued. So we'll see where this goes.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I think that's gonna do it for this episode of Analytical Fanboys. We don't currently have any questions, so we're gonna go ahead and skip that segment. But if you want to email in some questions for the next episode, go ahead and do that. It's analyticalfanboys@gmail.com, and make sure you put in the subject title "Question for Next Episode, okay to read on air," and we will read it and reply to it if it's a good question. Send us good questions. Send us interesting questions. But mostly just send us questions.
Yeah.
And, yeah, that's gonna do it for this episode. We will see you guys whenever we reconvene for the next one.
Yep, check our YouTubes, check our Twits.
Yep. Always, everything's in the description. As well as, I almost forgot to say this. I just recently, after making the last episode, put in the description. Now you can download an MP3 of every episode off of Google Drive and listen to this wherever if you're not big on the YouTube app.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool.
So go do that if you want to. And, yeah, I think that's going to take care of it for us. I've been the Vacuuminator.
I'm Boingo Rider.
And we will see you next time.
We're so bad at me. We make nightmares out of dreams. We're the Spaceballs. We're the Spaceballs. Watch out!